Good day everyone, in this video, we will be teaching you how to solve for the standard equation, general equation, and properties of the different conic sections. Starting off with circle. What is a circle? A circle is the set of all points in a plane that is equidistant to a specific point called center. The general equation of a circle is ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e is equal to 0. The standard equation of a circle is quantity x minus h squared plus quantity y minus k squared is equal to r squared, wherein r is the radius. Now let us solve for the general equation of the circle given its properties, center of 3 and 4 and radius of 4. First, let us recall the standard equation of the circle and find the values of h, k, and r. Take note that h is equal to the x-coordinate of your center. So h is equal to 3, k is equal to the y-coordinate of the center, which is 4, so k is equal to 4, and radius, which was already given. Now that we found the values of h, k, and r, we can now substitute these to the standard equation of the circle. We now have quantity x minus 3 squared plus quantity y minus 4 squared is equal to 4 squared. Next, we just need to perform the necessary operations. So we now have quantity x minus 3 squared plus quantity y minus 4 squared is equal to 4 squared, which is 16. This is what we call the standard equation of the circle. After that, we need to expand these binomials. So we have x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus y squared minus 8y plus 16 is equal to 16. Lastly, we need to move all of these to the left-hand side and combine and arrange like terms. So we have x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 8y, then 9 plus 16 is equal to 25 minus 16, so we have 9. The general equation of the circle given the properties is x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 8y plus 9 is equal to 0. Next, let us solve for the properties of the circle given its general equation x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 8y plus 9 is equal to 0. Let us first arrange and combine terms that have the same variables. So we have x minus 6x plus, let's leave first a blank, and then y squared minus 8y plus blank is equal to transpose 9, so we have negative 9. Now, in order for this to be a perfect square trinomial, we need to fill in the blanks. So how would we do that? Get the middle term divided by 2 and square it. So 6 divided by 2 is 3 squared is equal to 9. 8 divided by 2 is 4 squared is equal to 16. In order for this to be balanced, we should also add 9 and 16 on the right hand side. Since we already have a perfect square, we can now factor this. So we have quantity x minus 3 squared plus quantity y minus 4 squared. Then we just need to perform necessary operations here. Negative 9 plus 9 is equal to 0 plus 16 is equal to 16. In order for us to get the properties of the circle, we need to recall the standard equation of the circle. Remember that the value of h is the x-coordinate of center. So the value of h here is negative 3, just change the sign. So we have 3. The value of k is the y-coordinate of the center. The value of k here is negative 4, just change the sign, so we have 4. For the radius, we need to get the square root of 16. So square root of 16 is equal to 4. We now have the properties of the circle, center with 3 and 4, and the radius is equal to 4.
So for our next conic section, parabola. So what is parabola? So a parabola is a set of all points in a plane that are equidistant to a specific point and the specific line called the focus and directrix respectively. So for our general and standard equation, we have two of each depending on its axis. So if it is a vertical parabola, our general equation will be ax squared plus bx plus cy plus d is equals to 0, while as our standard equation will be parentheses x minus h squared is equals to 4p parentheses y minus k. However, if it is a horizontal parabola, our general equation will be ay squared plus bx plus cy plus d is equals to 0, and our standard equation will be parentheses y minus k squared is equals to 4p parentheses x minus h. So here is our formula for the properties, just like the equation: axis, opening, vertex, focus, directress, and the length of the latus rectum. So let's have an example on how to solve the general equation given its parabola properties. So for our given, it is vertex, where v, -1, -5, and latus rectum of 12, and has an opening upward. So since the opening is upward, therefore we can conclude that our equation is a vertical parabola. So to solve for it, we need to determine the h, k, and p. So how do we do that? So the h and k will be on the vertex, which is the -1 and the -5. -1 meaning that h is the x coordinate, and -5 is meaning the k is the y coordinate. So to solve for p, since the formula of the latus rectum is for p here, so we need to divide the 12, which is our latus rectum given, to 4p. So when we divide 12 to 4, it will become 3. So our p is 3. Now we will substitute the value of the equation. So x +1 squared is equals to 4 multiplied by 3 parentheses y plus 5. +1 because in our equation it is negative h, and our given is -1, therefore it will become positive. So after performing the necessary operation, this is our standard equation. So 4 multiplied by 3, it will become 12. But since we are looking for the general equation, all we need to do is to simply expand and move everything to the left hand side. So we will expand parentheses x plus 1 squared will become x squared plus 2x plus 1. And we will distribute the 12, so it will become 12y plus 60. Next is we need to move it to the left hand side, so this is our general equation: x squared plus 2x minus 12y minus 59 is equals to 0. How do we get the 59 is the 60? Move it to the left hand side, it will become -60. So 1 minus 60 will become -59. For our next example, we will be solving for the properties of the parabola given its general equation. So the given is x squared plus 2x minus 12y minus 59 is equals to 0. So first we need to move all the x variable on the left hand side. So it will be this. And while we need to move the y variable to the right hand side. So we need to fill in the blanks, and to do that, we need to divide the 2x with 2, so it will become 1, and squared it, so it will be 1, and add it to the right hand side. So we need after that, let us factor the x squared plus 2x plus 1, so it will become x plus 1 squared, and add the 59 plus 1, so it will become 60. Next is to factor out the coefficient of y in both terms so that we can have our 4p. So it will be this. And this is also our standard equation. So after knowing the standard equation, we can now fill in the properties of the parabola. So for our axis, since our variable y has no square, therefore it is a vertical parabola. And for our opening, since our 4p is positive 12, then it will be upward. And for the vertex, it will be negative 1 and negative 5. Since our equation for vertical parabola is parenthesis x minus h squared is equals to 4p parenthesis y minus k. Therefore, we need to copy the sign, and because x coordinate is our h and y coordinate is our k. For the focus, we need to base it on our formula. So the formula of the focus is here. So focus is h parenthesis k plus p, so negative 1 is our h, and k plus p, so we need to find the p. So 12 is equals to 4p. We will divide 12 with 4, so it is 3. So negative 5 plus 3 is equals to negative 2. For the directrix, which has a formula of y is equals to k minus p, then it will be y is equals to negative 8. And for the latus rectum, it is the absolute value of 4p, meaning our latus rectum will be 12.
The next conic section that we will be discussing about is ellipse. So what is an ellipse? Ellipse is the set of all points in a plane whose sum of the distance from two fixed points, foci, is constant. So the general equation of an ellipse is ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e is equals to 0. And then the standard equation of an ellipse is x minus h quantity squared over a squared plus the quantity of y minus k quantity squared over b squared is equals to 1. So example number 1 here, solving for the general equation. So suppose here we have to give different properties of an ellipse, which is the center, vertex, and then the co-vertices. Here the center locates at positive 2 and negative 5, vertex locates at positive 6 and positive 5, co-vertices locates at positive 2 and negative 8. First is we need to identify the axis, which is just by comparing the center and then the vertex. Now we have here, this is a horizontal axis. Next is to look for the value of h, k, a, and b. So the center here is given, and center locates as h and k, so h will be positive 2 and then k will be negative 5. And we're gonna be looking for the value of a and b since it's not given here. So first, let's look for the value of a. We can look for the value of a by using the major axis, and then since one of the vertices here is given, we can use this or this one. So our x-coordinate gives us h plus or minus a is equals to 6, and we're just going to be choosing what sign we're going to use. It will be h plus a is equals to 6, and then substitute h, that is 2, so this will be 2 plus a equals to 6, and then 6 minus 2 is equals to 4, therefore a is equals to 4. So a, our value of a now here is 4. Let's look for the value of b. So we can look for the value of b by using the minor axis. So it gives us k plus or minus b equals to negative 8. Choose the sign that you're going to use. It will be k plus b equals to negative 8. And then substitute k, that is negative 5. So this will be negative 5 plus b is equals to negative 8. And then b is equals to negative 3. But we will not be considering this as negative 3 since b is just a distance. So this will be b is equals to positive 3. So now we have our a and b's value. So a is equals to 4 and then b is equals to 3. Since we now have completed the value of h, k, a, and b, we now solve for the standard equation. This is our standard equation formula. So this is x minus h quantity squared over a squared plus the quantity y minus k quantity squared over b squared is equals to 1. Now we need to simplify. It turns like this. And then this is x minus 2 quantity squared over 4 squared plus the quantity y minus negative 5. quantity squared over 3 squared is equals to 1. And then we need to simplify or solve. This is now x minus 2 quantity squared over 16, as 4 squared is 16, and then plus quantity y plus 5 quantity squared over 9, because 3 squared is equals to 9 and equals to 1. So this now is our standard equation. And then next is to solve for our general equation. Our general equation is not in rational form, so we need to eliminate those denominators. So the question here is how. First is you're gonna want to multiply both sides of the equation to the LCD, which is 144. So we will be having 9 times x minus h quantity squared plus 16y plus 5 quantity squared equals to 144, and then we need to expand the binomial. We will have 9 times x squared minus 4x equals to 4 plus 16y squared plus 10y plus 25 is equals to 144. And then what we need to do next is to distribute 9 and 16. So we will have 9x squared minus 36x plus 36 plus 16y squared plus 160y plus 16 times 25 is 400, that's why it's 400, equals to 144. And then next we're gonna want to do move everything to the left hand side and then combine like terms and then arrange them. So this will be 9x squared plus 16y squared minus 36x minus 160y plus, so 36 plus 400 is 436, and then we minus it by 144, it will be 292 equals 0. So this now is our general equation. So example number 2 is solving for the properties. 9x squared, given the equation of 9x squared plus 54y squared plus 5x plus 10y plus 41 equals to 0. Here we have, so given the equation 9x squared plus 54y squared plus 5x plus 10y plus 41 equals to 0, we need to group all x and group all y's. So here, this will be, for the x, we'll have 9x squared minus 54x plus, for the y, 5y squared plus 10y equals to negative 41. Transpose the positive 41 to negative, so it will be equals to negative 41. And then we need to factor out the coefficient and then simplify. So we have 9 times x squared minus 6x plus 5 times y squared plus 2y is equals to negative 41. And then we need to do the completing the square. So for the x, we have 6 divided by 2 squared is equals to 3 squared, so 3 squared is equals to 9. And then for the y, 2 divided by 2 squared is equals to 1 squared, and then 1 squared is equals to 1. And then we factor out. So we have 9 times x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus 5 times y squared plus 2y plus 1 is equals to negative 41 plus 9 times 9 here, and then plus 5 times 1. And then again here we will have 9 times x minus 3 quantity squared plus 5 times y minus 1 quantity squared equals to copy negative 41. And then 9 times 9 is plus 81, and then 5 times 1 equals to 5, so plus 5 here. And then we simplify solve. We will have 9 x minus 3 quantity squared plus 5 times y minus 1 quantity squared over, equals to 45. And then remember that all the right side should be equal to 1. So we need to divide all the terms to 45. So we have here quantity x minus 3 quantity squared over 5, and then plus quantity of y plus 1 quantity squared over 9. This is our standard equals to 1. This is our standard equation. And a squared is greater than b squared. So our a squared is 9 and then b squared is 5. So therefore we have this as vertical axis. So after that, we will now use the formula for vertical axis and look for the values of h, k, a, b, and c. So earlier at the standard equation, our h here we have x minus 3. So this here is negative 3. So this here will be, our h will be positive 3. And then for the k, here the y plus 1, since this is positive, this will be negative 1. So our k is negative 1. So we will just be looking for the values of a, b, and c. So to look for the value of a first, we have here also in our standard equation of an ellipse, we have here our a squared is 9. So we will be looking for the square root. Square root of a squared equals 2. It will be square root of 9. And the square root of 9 equals 3. So a is equals to 3. The value of a now is positive 3. Next is to look for the value of b. We have here b squared is 5. So we will be looking for the square root. Square root of b squared equals to square root is equals to 5. And then b is equals to square root of 5. So our value for b is equals to square root of 5. Lastly is to look for the value of c. To look for the value of c, we need to use this formula here. C squared is equals to a squared minus b. So now we substitute. C squared equals to a is 3. So 3 squared minus b is square root of 5. But it will be negative 5 squared. So we have here now we have c squared is equals to 3 squared is 9, and then we now have minus 5. Simplify, c squared is equals to 4, and then look for the square root of 4, it will be 2. Our value for c is 2. Now we have completed the value of h, k, a, b, and c. We now are gonna solve for the foci, center, vertex, foci, and the co-vertices. So for the center, we have here h and k. So substitute that. Our h is 3. We have k for negative 1. This is our coordinate for the center. Next, we will look for the coordinates of the vertex. We have h, k plus or negative a. Substitute. We have 3, h, and then k is negative 1. Plus or minus a is 3. Now we will separate these. Plus and 3, we need to separate this. For the first one, we have 3 is, and then negative 1 plus 3, and then the other side, 3, negative 1 minus 3, and then solve for it. We will have 3, and then negative 1 plus 3 is 2, positive 2. The other side, we have 3, and then negative 1 minus 3 is equals to positive 4. Here we have the coordinates of our vertex, and then we will look for the coordinates of foci. We have h, k plus or minus c, and then we substitute that. H is 3, and then k is negative 1 plus or minus 2, and we separate again just like earlier. We have positive 3 here, negative 1 plus 2, and then the other side, positive 3, negative 1 minus 2, and then we solve for it. We have 3 here, negative 1 plus 2 is positive 1, and then the other side, we have 3, and then negative 1 minus 2 is equals to negative 3. We have the coordinates of our foci. Lastly, we'll solve for the coordinates of our co-vertices. So we have here h plus minus b and k. And then we substitute. We have h for 3 plus square root of 5 plus minus square root of 5, and then negative 1, and then we separate just like what we did to the vertex and foci. We have positive 3 and plus the square root of 5, negative 1, and then positive 3 minus square root of 5 and then negative 1, and then we solve. 3 plus square root of 5 will be 5.24, and then negative 1 copy, and then the other side 3 minus square root of 5 will be 0.726 and a negative 1 copy. Here is our coordinates of our co-vertex.
For our fourth conic section, hyperbola. So what is hyperbola? Hyperbola is the set of all points in a plane whose difference of the distance from two fixed points is constant. For our general equation, ax squared minus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. For our standard equation, x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. For our example 1, solving hyperbola to general equation, our given is converting x minus 3 squared over 4 minus y minus 4 squared over 9 equals 1. So first we will factor out these two, which will be x squared minus 6x plus 9 over 4 minus y squared minus 8y plus 16 over 9 equals 1. Second, we will find the LCD of 4 and 9, which is 36. 36 times this term, x squared minus 6x plus 9 over 4, should give us 9. 9 times x squared minus 6x plus 9. 36 times this term over 9 will be negative 4 times y squared minus 8y plus 16 equals 36. Second, we will multiply this, which will be 9x squared. 9 times negative 6x will be negative 54x. 9 times 9 plus 81, negative 4y squared, negative 4 times negative 8y will be negative positive 32y, and then negative 4 times 16 would be negative 64 equals 36. Second, we will arrange this to a general equation. 9x squared minus 4y squared minus 54x plus 32y plus 81 minus 64, and we will put the 36 to the left side, which will be negative 36 equals 0. And we will simplify this, in which we will get our final answer, 9x squared minus 4y squared minus 54x plus 32y minus 19 equals 0. So this is our general equation for example 1. So now let's move on to example 2. Solving hyperbola to standard equation. Our given is 16x squared minus 9y squared minus 96x minus 36y minus 36 equals 0. So now, we will gather first the variable of x and y and arrange it, which will be 6x squared minus 96x minus 9y squared minus 36y minus 36 equals 0. Now, we will get the coefficient of x squared and y squared, which is 16 and 9, and factor it out, which will be 16 times x squared minus 6x minus 9 times y squared plus 4y equals 36. Now we will expand this. So it will be 16 times x squared minus 6x divided by 2, which is 3. 3 squared equals 9. Minus 9 times y squared plus 4 divided by 2, which will be 2 squared plus 4 equals 36. So do not forget that we have to put 9 and 4 at the right side, including the factor of them, which will be plus 9 times 16 plus 4 times negative 9. Next is to simplify and factor it. We have factors x squared minus 6x plus 9 and y squared plus 4y plus 4 into this. So 16 times x minus 3 squared minus 9 times y plus 2 squared equals 144. We cancel out 36. Next, we want to get our answer equals to 1. So we divided by it all to 144. So we will get 16 times x minus 3 squared over 144 minus 9 times y plus 2 squared over 144 equals 144 over 144, and which will have our final answer for our standard equation, to x minus 3 squared over 9 minus y plus 2 squared over 16 equals 1. So that's all. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.